of the internet. What is going on? Welcome to the Nerdy News Hour. It's like the news, but for nerds. And I know we're going to be kind of building the audience here on the Facebook thing. It's always strange. We always get people coming in, so there might not be many people watching right away. Having said that, it's going to recycle, so I do want to do intros. Obviously, you can see we have more than just us three normal nerds here. We have an awesome young lady named Kat. Kat, what's going on? How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Really excited to talk about Wonder Woman. Josh has been trying to get me on the show for a couple of times now, and this is just a perfect topic. And also, I actually had time because all those other times I wanted to come on too. But yeah, really excited.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was messaging her last night. I was actually messaging her and these guys last night, trying to pull this whole Wonder Woman show thing because we had a different list of topics, and I was like, I'm kind of feeling just Wonder Woman today. I don't know, and we kind of went that way or whatever. But Kat, real quick, for those people that don't maybe know who you are or what you do, talk about yourself a little bit. You are a YouTuber. You are a comic book creator. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I do a lot of things on the internet. That's one thing you'll learn about me if you check out my stuff. So I'm a YouTuber for the YouTube channel Comic Inno. I review comics, TV stuff, movies. I will be reviewing Wonder Woman. So if you like all nerdy stuff, I do that. And then also I'm a comic book creator with Josh. But yeah, so Josh is editing my Dancer book. So they call her The Dancer, which we're getting ready for issue 1. Really excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
It's about an assassin and dancer, and you get to see kind of the brutality and beauty of both martial arts and dance. So really psychological, gritty story. Looking forward to that. And of course, my comic book that we have 3 issues out already, which is like Father Like Daughter. And that's about a high school girl. Father left her to become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him except for her. And then she inherits his abilities. So you got to find out what happens. We have our Facebook page if you want to buy the book, or we're also on Comixology. And we're getting ready for issue 4 real soon because we did have a successful Kickstarter for that.
Yes, definitely check that stuff out. I mean, I love all the stuff that you do. I'm super biased, of course. But no, tons of good stuff. People go check out Comic Uno. The channel, the YouTube channel is very good. I've been on a couple of your shows, right? We did the Frontline thing. Yeah, Kat's very involved in the indie comics community. We kind of work together. It's really, really cool. I love her book. I know all sorts of things about it. I can't tell you any of them. Now,
a lot of twists and turns.
A lot of twists and turns. Now, the nerds you know and love. Dan Thomas, Anime Dan. How's the week been, brother? How you doing?
How's it going? I'm Anime Dan. It's been a great week. I don't know. I'm super excited for Wonder Woman. Playing a bunch of cool games. Can't complain.
How are you on Injustice? Are you getting a little bit better? Do you feel pretty confident?
I've got a couple characters where I'm like, I'm not going to get totally thrashed at this point, so I'm feeling a little bit better there. I'm going through the story mode. I almost got that 100%, and I love the multiverse. I've been messing around with that whole
multiverse is so cool. How's the guild going on the PS4 end, guys?
I think we're at 49 members last I checked.
That's awesome.
I had a friend hit me up at 47 out of 50 and was like, is there a slot yet? And I'm like, yes, you got one. You're lucky. So.
Yeah, that's good, because we opened it up. We made it open on Xbox, and we definitely got some more people. I think we're at like 46. Nice. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, we have some active players, some players, not so active or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
but yeah, that's
I'm one of those not so active players. I just logged on the other day and was like, ching, ching, ching. Wow, I get so much free stuff.
I know. That's what's good about the guild. That's what's good about the guild. Justin, how are you, my friend? How's the week been for you?
It's been okay. I've been jumping back and forth between a couple games. Got back into Final Fantasy XIV recently. I am currently going through the struggle of the mobile Fate Stay Night game, Fate Grand Order, not coming out here until July. Ooh. So I caved. I made my Japanese iTunes account. I'm playing the game in Japanese. I have no idea what the hell is going on, and I'm just trying to get by until probably July 29th.
That's awesome. I've never done that with the JP, but I have seen it done before, and in Dokkan apparently they get everything.
They do. And dude, since I know you're into like Netflix anime shows and all that, go check out Fate Zero and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
I will. I will check that out. That Blame show really blew me away. Yeah. That was really good.
But I saw you post about that. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's really cool. I was like, this is nuts. Like just the camera work, the story, everything really, really intriguing.
But it is an original story too. Fun
Oh,
fact.
it is. Oh, cool. But let's get to the topic of the day. Now, here, we're going to try this thing a little bit differently. And what I mean by that is I'm going to try not to talk a lot, which is going to be weird for me. But I want to just get the thoughts of all of you guys. I'll, of course, interject. We have a lot of topics. We're talking Wonder Woman today. So if you're joining us, we're going to be talking about the movie, the implications of the back end, the production stuff, what this means for women, the crazy back history of this character back when she was called Suprema, stuff that I'm really personally into. I'm really looking forward to getting into that. And we're also going to talk, the last topic is going to be, does this movie, if it's as good as people are saying it is, does this fix the DCEU? Does this make the DCEU a better thing with just this Wonder Woman movie? So a lot to get to. The first topic on the ticker is about the reception of this film, currently sitting at a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is not only the highest rated DC film currently on Rotten Tomatoes, but it is the highest rated comic book film ever on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very interesting here. I'm obsessed with the fact that Warner Brothers went after Patty Jenkins, who has not done a movie in 14 years, and they got an auteur to make a movie, which is what they've always claimed to be. Warner Brothers, for those who don't know, has always claimed to be a filmmaker-driven studio, but recently they have tinkered beyond tinkering with their comic book movies in particular, which has frustrated fans and left us to wonder what the hell is going on with the DC Extended Universe. It would appear that Wonder Woman was done differently, done correctly, and I'm super excited about it. So I want to get right to Kat about this. What do you think about this movie in comparison to the other DC films from the production end? And what do you think about Patty Jenkins taking on this project?
Yeah, I'm first of all happy to see a female director. I think that's important. And to have someone who's kind of picky on projects, I thought was important, because that means this must be pretty great. The script must have been pretty good. So yeah, I'm so happy with the reception in general on Rotten Tomatoes, because I was really looking forward to this film, and I'm not the biggest DC Extended Universe fan. I know there is a hardcore fan base, even if a lot of us over here don't like it. I know a lot of people, there is that fan base that really likes it. I'm not part of that fan base, and I love DC. But I didn't really love Man of Steel. I really didn't like Batman vs Superman. Suicide Squad was iffy. Like, I could have found some stuff that I had fun with, but also had a lot of nitpicks about. But yeah, Wonder Woman I was really excited for, because I think it's a about time type moment, because this is a character everyone knows and loves, but they didn't want to make a female movie, and they didn't want to make a female superhero movie, because like, oh, well, Catwoman failed, so we can't make another one. Elektra failed, we can't do that. Guys only see these movies, so they want to see themselves on screens. So I think Wonder Woman's proving that you can have a female hero that both women love and also guys love, because that's important.
Super important. Yeah, it's super important. And I wanted to ask you another question, because you and I were chatting last night, and you had brought up that Patty Jenkins did not take the Thor 2 job. Yeah. Now, this was after it had already kind of lost its director, right? It was in a weird state of production.
It was.
So she did not take this project, and I assumed it was because she didn't like the portrayal of women in the story. That's not exactly the case. Do you want to talk about why she did not do Thor 2?
I think, because I didn't read the article fully, I just read the headline, but I think it was somewhat to do with the female portrayal, I thought, with Jane Foster.
Well, so it had to do with a couple things. It actually has more to do with how she thought it would make women look in the industry if she were to take that job and it fumbled. So essentially in the article, she kind of explains that if it was a guy that took over and it just didn't work out, everyone in Hollywood would just be like, oh yeah, it's just another director, just another production thing. If it were her, it could be created in a narrative that was like, well, it was a woman, the woman took over, and this is why we can't have women directors, this is why we can't have nice things, so to speak. Also, her idea, her pitch for that movie was actually pretty incredible, if I'm going to be honest. It was, she wanted to do like a version of Romeo and Juliet with Jane and Thor, and like Thor's kind of trapped in Asgard, and she's on Earth, and there's this warring between them that's very sci-fi, and she wanted to do that but it was actually kind of shot down by them. You can see notes of it, you can see little strings of that theme still in that movie, but overall, she didn't want the stink of a bad movie on the female director slate.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit more, but Dan, I want to go on to you. What do you think about this thing with Warner Brothers? I mean, if this movie is as good as everyone is saying, what does this mean for the industry, and why is this good that they went after an auteur?
I think it's a great move. When you talk about DC comic movies, people like on our side of the camp who generally think, oh, okay, they haven't been as successful as they could be, you almost always have to say, like, with the exception of the Dark Knight trilogy, because that was, it's hard to argue that those were not good films. And I think that was a very director-driven, filmmaker-driven project. It took a very long time to do, but they did it right. And they very well established the characters, had them interact with each other very well, also in an entertaining way that everyone wanted to see. And I'm really hoping that's the direction they took with Wonder Woman here. Patty Jenkins, great call. An interesting note that she's picky on projects. I've been combing through her IMDb, looking at some past projects. She broke out really after she worked 8 years as like a camera person, focus puller, and then after that she attended AFI, and then she directed Monster, which is follows the story of the serial killer Eileen Wuornos as she transforms from like a struggling young woman to eventually a prostitute and then to a serial killer who offs her Johns and steals their car and their belongings. So that was her first big project. She won the Best First Film Feature Award from the Spirit Film Awards. And
what's up, my friend?
Oh, sorry. Did you miss that part?
No, yeah, you're good. I thought it was a question, but you were looking it up. Sorry. I'm trying to jump through the chat thing, too, helping out.
Yeah, so she did Monster. Then another big project she did was AMC's The Killing. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's a pretty big show. She did the pilot, which started the whole thing, critically acclaimed. And I actually have a chart right here. I don't know if you guys know Graph TV. It's one of my favorite websites. He takes IMDb statistics and turns them into charts with trend lines. So I'm bringing it up right now.
That's awesome.
And so Patty Jenkins has her hands on 2 of these data points on this chart. The very first one, which is the pilot, and you can see in that first series of blue data points, the pilot, the first episode, did better than more than half of the episode. So that's very highly regarded. But then on this entire chart, there's one data point that you'd probably want to have your hands on, if any of them, and that is the finale of season 2, the highest rated episode of the entire series. And they brought her back to do that. That was Patty Jenkins. So yeah.
So she's got the goods.
She does, yeah. Mathematically, she does great when she directs.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Justin, what do you think, brother? I mean, obviously, there's been a lot said. Patty Jenkins, incredible. I just think that it's awesome that they went after her, and it seems as though they let her make her movie. Like, the reports out there are that there were very little reshoots. Reshoots were for pickups.
And they didn't cut any scenes
at her. There's no cut scenes. So, I mean, she did her thing. What does it say about Warner Brothers that they made this call?
I feel like Warner Brothers might actually be starting to learn from some of their mistakes. They're actually going out there and they're letting this filmmaker have a lot more creative freedom. They're letting them make more of the calls, and they're taking out a lot of that executive meddling that we've been hearing about with, higher ups that don't really know anything about film, who are just, business moguls who are trying to make money, and that's all, are getting in here, like, meddling with these films. We heard a lot about that with Suicide Squad, and that's why it got, like, cut up and put back together and cut up again and put back together and just became this little hodgepodge. Yes. And it looks like with this project, not only did they give this filmmaker, here you go, you can go create, but they said, here you go, you can go create, and you're not gonna have to worry about being tied to the canon, because we're gonna let you make this essentially the Captain America, the first Avenger of the DC film universe.
I think... sorry. I was just going to say, I think there's a fear, though, that because you see Justice League, and then you also see, like, what's coming up for Batman. Even though Wonder Woman is going to hopefully be awesome, and you see this direction of this one director being able to just put our project out there, I'm not sure if that's going to be in tune of Justice League and Batman. And these are like, going to be the big films coming up next.
That's very true. That's very true. That's a good point. We'll kind of touch on that in the last topic. And it's an interesting point. It's like, well, what does that mean? What if this is just one gem in a crown of otherwise kind of crappy stones, so to speak? That might not fix the problem. But I'm really hoping. Here's the other thing. I was on a podcast yesterday, the Fine Piece, little plug there. The Fine Piece that I do with James from Rebel Scum, and we were talking to Wonder Woman, and I said, look, all of this is awesome. What if it doesn't make any money? So in a world where, let's be real, it's run by money, in this version of this thing that's happening here, if everything went right, but it just doesn't connect with audiences and it doesn't make money, then we're screwed, because then they'll go back to what they did in the other things, because Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad made money. So for the love of God, go see Wonder Woman this weekend, please. And we're assuming it's really good. So, in that sense, I'm saying go see Wonder Woman. So that in and of itself makes this film incredibly important. So, Kat, does that spark anything? Do you want to kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, I agree. Go see Wonder Woman, and I hope that it makes its box office. Now, you could go into the controversy, was this film promoted enough? Because that was the big conversation for like 2 months, is that, well, where was Wonder Woman this whole time? You saw Batman v Superman everywhere. They promoted trailers on late night shows and all that. Wonder Woman was only promoted like this. I won't say this week, but she had the Dr. Pepper stuff. And I mean, but the tour, like that's all really she was promoted in. It's like Gal Gadot did her press tour like any other movie. So yeah, that's what I'm worried about, is that they didn't promote it enough. And I think that would be more of the blame of that this didn't make money than that this is a bad movie. And I'm hoping that people listen to the internet, because the internet now is a place of promotion too, and see, wow, this movie actually did really well on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me go see this and not, waste my money on a bad movie. But then there's the fear.
They're running official ads. Warner Brothers is running official ads that cite the 97% Rotten Tomatoes score. I was clicking through YouTube. Good. She pops on, and then the announcer is like, certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, Wonder Woman, and it shows the score
and
right
posters
there.
Too. Yeah, they've done a lot.
They also say the tagline is, "It's not just a great superhero film; it's a great film." Which is
there you go.
That's the constant critique we've had of these DC movies. Is it doesn't matter if anything with comic book accuracy, the superhero, put that aside. As a film goer, I have to go and watch it and be told a good story that has like a complete arc. I want.
It's entertaining.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this on the show a little bit about the lack of promotion. Justin, do you think can you think of a reason why there would be such a lack of promotion for this movie?
I mean, I think it's that stereotype that we, have seen with both comic books and video games in and of itself. Just this whole giant, I want to say, like, remnant of the past, where a lot of people, when they were growing up with comic books, they ended up seeing comic books and all that as a predominantly male space, as a place, where guys would go and congregate and read, and it was just, a guy's hobby. They didn't even conceive that women might be interested in comic books. Who would have freaking thunk? And I feel like a lot of that advertising, that lack of push for Wonder Woman kind of stems from what you guys were talking about earlier. Like, guys want to see themselves up on the screen. They don't want to see a girl. They can't relate to a girl. That's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
So you think that's why? Because here's my only argument against that. If that is the predominant paradigm that they're working with, then if anything, they would dump more money into marketing. If they're really worried about it, if they think that that's a thing, would they not spend more money to try to get whatever audience is going to be out there to do it? So I don't think that's the issue.
It could be that, or it could be like, we've already decided that this film is just going to be a crutch we're going to need to extend our universe. We're willing to take a little bit of a hit because we already made so much money with Batman vs. Superman and so much money with Suicide Squad that if this just ends up being a, dip in the graph until we get to Justice League and make a lot more money, then that's fine.
Or they might be doing a Frozen where, that started out like, let's not promote it at all and then let people see it. And then look at one of the biggest revenued movies is Frozen. So maybe they're like, let's do this with Wonder Woman. Let's not really promote it at all. That way there's no like real spoilers, which we don't know any spoilers for this movie. We don't really know what it's about besides, obviously if you know our origins. But there haven't been any spoilers like Batman v Superman, which they spoiled a lot of stuff.
I think Warner Brothers is tired of getting burned on these trailers. I think they're tired of all the fallout from the over spoilage of Batman and Superman and the changing the whole movie for the Suicide Squad trailer. I think they're like, all right, we get in over our heads with this trailer work. We'll cut it back. We're going to do it for the 3 weeks before the movie comes out. We'll do the regular press tour, and then we'll let this movie speak for itself. I think there's enough hype at this point about Wonder Woman that it's going to do opening weekend. It's going to do fine. We'll have to see like this once the reviews come in. We'll have to see the sustained sales, but I don't think there's going to be like an empty theater anywhere in particular.
Yeah, True. All right, guys, we got to roll on because I'm talking too much. We're a half hour in, a little less than that, but we're only on our second official topic. So it's about to get real weird in here, guys. We're going into the real deep cuts
so excited
of
for this
the
part.
origin. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this. This is one of the things that I talk to comic book people a lot. I'm like, I love Wonder Woman, especially, when she was Suprema. And people are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, Suprema, man. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we're about to get deep cut and talk about the origin of Wonder Woman and William Moulton Marston. So if you don't know who this guy is, he was an inventor. He's actually a pretty accomplished dude. He was a lawyer, he was an inventor, he was a psychologist, and then eventually became a comic book writer. I love about this guy's story is that he essentially had this patent on this thing that was used a lot in lie detector tests, and he basically was wealthy at that point and decided he wanted to work on comic books. So he had talks very, very early on with people that actually worked for the companies that ended up merging to become DC Entertainment. And he essentially said that he saw a great opportunity within comic books to teach lessons. He is the man, with the help of his wife, that created the Wonder Woman character. He had very, very strange beliefs about society, about the psychology. He invented the DISC program, the thing that when you go to get a job and you take all these weird, wacky tests that are basically trying to make sure you're not an a-hole, that has to do with the DISC thing that he invented. He lived and had a romantic relationship with 2 different women. After he died, those women stayed together for 40 years. They were a really, really loving, kind of interesting dynamic, really. So, Kat, talk a little bit about where Wonder Woman comes from and why is it important that people know about William Moulton?
Well, yeah, I think it's important because he was ahead of his time. Wonder Woman was ahead of her time. She wasn't a damsel in distress by any means. It was interesting that, she comes from an island of all women. And then obviously mixing in Greek mythology at the same time, which is super interesting. But yeah, the whole lie detector test, look at Wonder Woman. She has the lasso of truth. So you see a lot of his thoughts brought into Wonder Woman. And then, like you said, his wife was very important of building Wonder Woman. I think I read an article. I think she was like, she had a job. I don't remember what job, but only 2% of women at the time had this job. So was it a lawyer? Maybe she was a lawyer. I don't know. I don't remember what she was. So she was a very accomplished woman. And yeah, that's super interesting. And then if you look at...
and a psychologist.
There you go. Yeah. Only 2% of women had that job at that time. So that's really cool that he was able to make this character. Now, of course, as years went on, the character either became more, about romance just because other writers didn't see this vision. But it's also cool to see how the character has changed over the decades because our view on feminism and just comics in general, because what are comics is a reflection of society, which that's why a lot of times I don't get when people are like, oh, I just want fantasy. It's like, but comics are always been a reflection of our society. So,
definitely.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see that. And you see that with Wonder Woman especially. If you want to really see how woman has changed in society, it's through Wonder Woman. You see that.
Totally. Justin, talk to me about this crazy man and this Suprema character. Why is it important that people know this?
It's important that people know this because Wonder Woman is the most popular female superhero of all time. And there's actually, if you're interested, I have an NPR article up here that they did in 2014 about William Moulton Marston, and there's this book they're going ahead and, showing up on it called The Secret History of Wonder Woman by Jill Lepore. Jill Lepore is actually a staff writer for The New Yorker and a professor of American history at Harvard. And she's got like all this fascinating secret history of Wonder Woman in this book, basically talking about how Marston was not only influenced by both the suffragists and, that whole movement at that time, but also by erotic pinup art. And that's where like a lot of the inspiration for her costume comes from. Yep. So he's really, like you said, got this really weird little dynamic going on here, where he's, pushing both the femininity and the power, basically taking all aspects of a woman and pushing them up high on this pedestal and showing them like, guys, this is great. You should be all for, both sides of the woman. Just let them be who they want to be. Let people be people. And that's very, very important in my mind. Yeah, definitely.
If I had to sum it up like really quickly, his idea was that there are things inherent to females that are awesome, but they're downplayed and diminished because of what they lack as far as a society is concerned. So what he wanted to do was he was like, lift up both sides, make them strong and make them loving, like lift up both sides, which is very fascinating to me. But Dan, I'm done on this one. Let me know, why is this important? Why should people know about this?
Oh, I think it's always important to know the history of something, because that's, where it comes from. So I'm going to bring up this the full image again of these, like the origin, the creators of Wonder Woman here. And you can see Marston there, and then he's testing his piece of the polygraph up in the upper left. And then you can see him with his wife, Elizabeth, and Olive in the upper right. And I have like a little red circle there. That's because Olive actually wore large bracelets that were the inspiration for Wonder Woman's bracelets. And you can look up some really great black and white photos of her doing like hurdle jumping and various other sports wearing these bracelets. And both of these women had such a strong influence on the character. In fact, the whole reason that she was a woman is
the wife.
Marston was talking about how he had an idea for a superhero that didn't win with fists or firepower. He fought crime with love. And she said, fine, but make it a woman. And that's pretty much the origin of Wonder Woman, the concept right there. And so it's just really interesting to see how this whole family basically kind of came together to create this character. Sad to know that after his health deteriorated and he passed away, Elizabeth wrote a very big letter to the comic book editors, to the company, saying, let me edit Wonder Woman. I can find writers. I can get you good stories. I have pages and pages of notes, tools of the trade, the way she does things, story arcs, villains. I know this character. And they completely ignored her. They brought on a different male director, totally ignored her. She continued to submit information and guidance, but overall it was ignored. Every time they changed directors for the first few, I think the first 2 directors they went through, she again petitioned them, like, let me back into this project. I know so much about Wonder Woman. And she was continuing to be ignored. One thing that she wanted to bring to the character that I don't think they kept up with is she used feminine expletives. So she would always say, like, great Hera, or suffering Sophos, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's very cool. There's a lot of weirdness that goes on with the story. I think his psychology is so interesting. I mean, he literally thought that in certain circumstances, because if you really dig into his psychology, it's all circumstantial, and it really starts with how one sees oneself in their environment. But he literally thought that women were more honest. They were faster workers. They were literally better in certain situations than men. And I don't think there's anything wrong with asserting that, especially if you're an intelligent person that has studied psychology. So I find it like very, very interesting. You could think of it as first wave feminism for sure. But here's the other side of this. His wife could have created 70 to 80% of this character. The reason we don't know that for sure is because much like Galileo, or not Galileo's a bad example, but certain people have had to hide what they are really trying to say because of the times. So because of the times, men were not accepting of having a woman's name as creator, having a woman be this thing that helped create the character. So I, in my own headcanon, like to believe that she was actually the majority of the creator of this character. I can't substantiate that at all, but I just know that there's a lot of stuff that happened doing with the times, and I think that it's awesome that this character has endured for so long. It's very cool.
Where we get that saying, behind every good man is a great woman, that came about because women couldn't have as much of a public face in industry as men. So a lot of like successful men were just taking good ideas of women and applying them to business.
True. And, all right, Kat, any last thoughts on the history of Wonder Woman? Anything that you'd want to impart on people or things they should check out?
Yeah, I think just digging into the history, it just shows the importance of why you should see this movie, you know? There's so much history of Wonder Woman, and why it's important that she's highlighting this, being the first female superhero movie for DC, really. So, and also I would say like a bigger movie for even compared to Marvel. So this is going to be the biggest female movie, superhero movie. So please go see this, please. Yeah. We're begging you.
Yes, literally. I'll buy you a ticket. No, I won't, but go see it. It's going to be awesome. Anything, Justin, any last words you want to talk about before we get out of the weird topic and get to the more acceptable stuff, I guess?
I just think people should check out that book I mentioned. It seems really interesting. I might go get a copy myself at Barnes & Noble this weekend.
Yeah. Dan.
Secret History of Wonder Woman, Jill Lepore.
Jill Lepore, check it out. Dan, any last thoughts?
And that's a new book, right? That's a newer book that came out?
No, this interview was in 2014, so this is actually before the movie stuff. She hopped on this before the movie bandwagon. She was ready.
Damn.
She was ready.
Dan,
any last thoughts?
Other thing I want to mention about like the origin of Wonder Woman is here are some covers of Sensation Comics, which was the first serialization that she was in, and her original outfit actually had her wearing pluots. They were going to have her in a skirt, and they decided no. We can't have a skirt and be an action hero. It's going to be up on your shoulders. So they gave her the skirt shorts, and sometimes she ran around, it looked like a skirt, and sometimes it looked like these big, goofy shorts, and eventually...
Are you saying she was doing a romper? Are you saying Wonder Woman had a romper?
Not really, no. Because it's not, it's not technically attached to her top. It doesn't have shoulders. But if you look through... There's some great articles that show her costume over time, but if you look, you can see it slowly transition from these pluots into like a regular, more standard outfit.
Interesting stuff. Just address the chat real quick. Justin says the first female superhero movie is actually The Bionic Woman.
That's true. She did have a movie. Well, was that a TV movie or was it a feature film?
I gotta be honest, I don't know. I don't know much about it. Let's check it out.
I do like Bionic Woman. Let's use the internet.
But
I don't
we're
see
gonna
a
move.
lot of TV movies.
We're gonna move to our next topic. This is a kind of a cool and interesting one. So the question is, what kind of an impact will this film have? And this, to me, there's multiple layers to this question. One, what kind of an impact does it have on audiences? Young women, old women, even men. What kind of an impact does it have on the audience? The other is, what kind of an impact does this have on the industry? So, Kat, we'll start with you. What do you think about this?
All right, so I'll go with the industry first. If this succeeds, I hope DC learns that, we can have more female superhero movies. And also, I think maybe DC will learn, because me and Josh were talking about this, that Wonder Woman maybe should be the staple instead of Batman and Superman in these films. Make her kind of that lead in the middle of the Trinity. Because if her movie's successful compared to putting Batman and Superman together, then maybe she does, maybe she should be the lead of this whole entire staple. So I'm hoping that's what DC learns. And then also, of course, Marvel, because I've had complaints of how they've utilized their female characters. They're trying. They're going to have Captain Marvel. And not saying they do this all the time, but with their movies, I'm not always happy with their female portrayal. So I'm hoping Marvel learns from this. Sure. I think that'll be great. And then audiences, I just hope they enjoy it. Obviously this looks like a very different film from Batman v Superman because of the direction. It doesn't look dark. And I think also all superhero movies, which I think we already know, can look different in tone and have different genres going on. So let's just see that even more.
True. I think it will be good for the industry because it can show, a female director can kick ass on an action film. I mean, we kind of already have this with, I think her name is Catherine Bigelow. she was married to James Cameron. She's done some really great stuff, like the Hurt Locker film or whatever. But there still seems to be that stigma out there that they can't do action films. So that could be really, really cool. Obviously, Gal Gadot, not just because she's a female, but definitely because majority because she's a female. Great to have her as a lead. She's also a highly accented ex-military Israeli. So, I mean, that's really, really interesting. I mean, when I saw her in the Fast and Furious movies, I was not excited when they cast her as Wonder Woman. But she crushed it in BVS, so I think that could be really cool. Dan, what do you think? What do you think about impact? Impact on the audience, impact on the industry?
I think if it's extremely successful, which right now I'm pretty much like 90% leaning towards this is going to be a very successful film, it's going to be huge. We've got... I'm really hoping, as you know, women director, women lead, awesome, put that forward. I'm really hoping this also moves us in the direction of the director-driven superhero film. I think when they're going to realize more and more that these should be passion projects. This is the whole idea, is you have a very passionate fan base that loves these characters, and if you just put someone like that into that role, you're going to have a successful piece of media. It maybe not like the most financially, like make the most money. It will make money,
right?
But it'll start something. Like I like to cite Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds' passion project right there. It wouldn't have been the kind of like niche that it would have been if it was just somebody making a big blockbuster movie. So I feel like there's a lot of connection here. Obviously, the director feels connected to this woman's superhero, and I really hope that they do a great job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it has the opportunity to be super impactful. Justin,
I almost forgot my favorite impact. Sorry, Justin. I'm sorry. But my favorite impact this movie has had on audiences is how salty it's made some men. That was the best part. You saw the controversy over the all-women screening of Wonder Woman. But the shout out to the Alamo Draft House, wonderful movie theater. If you've never heard of it, go to the Alamo Draft House. It's amazing. But they were going to do a all women screening of Wonder Woman, and so many men complained about it that they changed it to 2 all women screenings at all of their locations, not just the one. They did it
That's amazing.
at every one of their locations, and their 3 biggest locations. Maybe not 3 biggest, but some of their top 3 locations. All the proceeds from Wonder Woman opening night are going to women's charities. And so, shout out Alamo Draft House. Great job. Anything that makes the men salty, let's do it.
Yeah, interesting point. Look, I'll not take your bait and argue with you about certain aspects of that I don't agree with. But it is pretty cool that it's making people salty for sure. Justin, impact.
Do you mind if I draw a parallel between this and Star Wars?
Do I? Come on, I don't know that at all.
All right, so I think Wonder Woman is actually one of the most important impacts for me is the impact it's going to have on younger comic fans. And I want to draw that between the parallels of the impact that Rey has had on young Star Wars fans in general. I know this is just like a microcosm example, but my girlfriend is a teacher, and she has, all of these kids that are like into Star Wars because Star Wars is on like TV. Star Wars is huge again, and a lot of them are like, I really like Rey. I'm really happy to see Rey. I really want to be Rey. And back in the day, like I don't know if this was like that for you, but I didn't really know a lot of girls who were into Star Wars that really saw like Padme Amidala at the time as, sort of that example. But having Rey as this central figure, this, strong woman, this really like inspiring figure, this Jedi, heroine, which we didn't see in anything else, this like powerful heroine. Exactly, Dan. I really think that's going to not only like help Star Wars as a whole, but help fill young people with this confidence. And I feel like Wonder Woman is going to have this exact same impact for young women. And I think that's a wonderful, marvelous thing. Like I, as a kid, had so many like, like powerful dudes to look up to. I had Goku. I had, Superman. I had like
don't look
all
up
of
to
these
Goku.
people.
He's not a good person.
No, don't look up to Goku.
Sorry,
like
he's not
I'm talking original like English dub Goku when they tried to make him a hero.
Oh, right, okay.
Goku.
I'm the light of the universe, Goku. Yeah.
Yes, that
Okay.
Goku. But no, I really think Wonder Woman is going to have that really important impact, and I'm really, really happy to see that. I know some guys are, upset and angry about this invading their space and all that, but like, listen here, dude, anything to make more people fans of the things you like. You should be happy that other people like the things you like.
Yes.
You should be happy about that.
No, I agree. Also, I think it's important for merchandise too, because like when I was a kid, I mean, just in the early 2000s and also 1990s, it just I didn't have action figures to play with. It's just like, oh, I borrow like my brother's, and right. Now you actually can have like Wonder Woman stuff, and going to Star Wars, you can have lightsabers and like have that type of stuff. So it's cool that I think girls can, be open and say, yeah, I love superheroes, because I think when I was a young kid, it wasn't like, that's a boy's toy or, that's a boy's thing to like. So I'm glad it's more of like, no, everyone could like superheroes. So I think that's really cool. And I think Star Wars opened that up especially, but Wonder Woman will too.
Yeah, totally.
I'm thinking of like Transformers from back in my childhood and how they were all arbitrarily like masculine robots. Like it was all quote unquote male robots talking to each other. Like, they couldn't have had one woman voice a robot. But yeah, that's just not how they did it back in the day. Like, Saturday morning cartoons were geared towards boys. So, really cool to see it kind of, grow since then.
Yeah, even... oh, sorry, Josh. I was just going to say even... I said even like Power Rangers. Like I was a big fan of Power Rangers growing up. Still a fan of Power Rangers. I remember like I'm gonna get a Power Ranger, and all you would have is like the two main guys. I'm like, but how about the girl? Like that's my favorite character, and she wouldn't have an action figure. Now that's like I guess starting to change, but like you see that. You kind of still see that in some sort of franchises.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's really important. Though I guess like the biggest reason why I'm so excited about Wonder Woman is because like, look, there's. Stories are weird, and I have multiple ways that I view them in different things like that. But for some people, these types of stories do impart wisdom or lessons or teachings that stick with us for a long, long time. Star Wars has done this for me. So I'm excited for the young generation of women because I truly believe this, that she represents the right kind of feminine empowerment, the kind that isn't drawing a line in the sand, the kind that is inclusive, the kind that is loving, the kind that I want to see perpetuated. Like, to me, Wonder Woman is the ideal mate. You know what I mean? Like, especially just in my own psychology, just because I want someone that challenges me, first of all. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that is awesome. I also think that Rey in the same way, and look, there are things that, if she's a Mary Sue, like if they don't explain things in the story and she's a Mary Sue, that will bother me. But she's an interesting character and she's a very strong woman. And I think Daisy Ridley is an incredible ambassador for that brand and for that story and for women empowerment. So I think that especially now, when things are really divided and there's a lot of mudslinging and a lot of people that I think are going about it in a way that I don't necessarily agree with as far as trying to get equality. So I think that she represents the right way to do that. So I'm like super excited for this film to be out there. I hope that it really hits for a lot of people. But Justin, what do you think, man? Any last words you want to say about possible impact for the film?
I just hope at the very least, like talking to Kat's point earlier about how Wonder Woman would be like the central focus of the DC film franchise going forward. Yes. Give me Wonder Woman and Aquaman at the center of this. Batman and Superman can be ancillary, but Wonder Woman and Aquaman leading the Justice League. Fund it. I can't wait to buy my Jason Momoa action figure.
I'm game for that. Totally.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Well, you know what? Let's first roll into our last topic. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, last topic for the day. Does a great Wonder Woman film fix the DC extended universe? What does this mean if this is the best movie in their slate? I remember a long time ago I said I think it's going to be kind of poetic because all these boys are going to screw everything up and then Wonder Woman is going to come in and fix everything. But I don't know if that's actually the case. The more I think about it is like, even if it is great, how is that going to help Justice League? How is that going to help Aquaman? How is that going to help the rest of this film universe? So you were kind of speaking to this earlier, Kat. What do you think about this? Does this good movie really, really help? Does it set things in a different light for you?
I'm going to say yes and no. I think it helps give us faith, us as, comic book fans, and I am very much 50-50 on DC and Marvel. So I mean, and just as comic book fans, I think we want to see everyone succeed as, seeing these superhero movies succeed, because, I mean, I just want to see more superhero stuff. So I don't want to see these things fail and be like, oh no, there's too many of them, let's not do any anymore. So I don't want to see that happen. So I'm fearful, though, that this might just be the only good movie, and they'll go back to like, all right, Justice League will look exactly like Batman vs Superman. Aquaman, I actually am excited for, even though it's going to be a very different Aquaman. And then as comic fans, I'm okay with that. These are, like, we have our comics. We're allowed to read that type of Aquaman in the comics. You can have a different portrayal in film and television. I've always been open with that. I just want to see it, still stay true to the character and let it be good. And I feel like with Superman and Batman, or at least Superman, it didn't stay true to the character, and that was the problem.
Right. Yep.
So, and then also the look of it, was the problem. There were problems in the plot. There was problems in the script and portrayal.
Martha.
So that's why. Martha, exactly. So that was the problems. It wasn't that, oh, well, this is not my Superman. He's not like the comics. He's not like Tyler Hoechlin from Supergirl, who's kind of more of the Superman from the comics.
Yeah,
that wasn't the problem. It was just that it wasn't Superman at all. And again, just story structure stuff. So I am hoping that DC learns from this. And again, I think it'd be, if Wonder Woman's in the front, then I really do believe DC could be going into a good direction, and just showing different type of films. Not everything has to look like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. And going forward with Green Lanterns and Shazam, if these films are still happening, I don't even know.
Right. The
Flash.
million films they've talked about that are not in production.
Exactly. Flash, which I'm actually extremely worried about, because I don't really like Ezra Miller as an actor, and I don't really like the look of it, and I don't agree with paying for a film that we see on television for free. So it's like, maybe just change the direction and focus on 2 projects at a time and not be Marvel and focus on 20, because they deserve to work on as many as possible, because they've proven they can. DC hasn't proven that yet. So hopefully they will soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Justin, what do you think? Does a good Wonder Woman film save the DCEU?
One good film does not a good franchise make. Mm-hmm. Ever. Like, you've heard a lot of people like talking about Alien Covenant and how that was not good, and how some people say, like, Alien is a franchise. There's only 2 good movies, to quote Movie Bob. There's only 2 good movies.
First 2.
And everything else is just garbage the more you try to expand on it and more try to give this face to this monster. And with Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman can be absolutely incredible, but if every single film following Wonder Woman does not take lessons from Wonder Woman and apply them to make their films better, then unfortunately, it doesn't matter for the DC universe as a whole. It makes Wonder Woman a fantastic movie, and that is excellent. But you need to learn from your mistakes, and you need to follow through. And even though Wonder Woman itself is apparently incredible, we need more examples that DC has actually learned its lesson before we can accurately make the judgment call about whether or not Wonder Woman was the savior of the DC film universe.
I mean, that's fair points. Dan Thomas, what do you think, my friend?
I think there's a squad of people out there who would say, like, what needs saving? Why does this need saving?
Oh,
Suicide Squad
definitely.
won an Oscar? You know what I mean? Like, you'll never hear the end of it.
Always with that.
Yeah, it's going to be a thing.
As much as some people don't like them, as much as I don't like them, they do make a lot of money. But you can see even DC, even Warner Brothers isn't 100% comfortable. Otherwise, they wouldn't have knee-jerked so bad when Batman Superman got poor reviews. Like, it made money, but people did not like it. And they changed a lot of stuff. They did reshoots for Justice League. They changed the tone of Suicide Squad. They cut up stuff. So are they... I feel like we went through kind of like the uh-oh phase, and now maybe they're going to take their first firm step with, like, all right, we're trying again. Here's Wonder Woman, lay down the groundwork, we're going to build from here, Aquaman's going to be cool, kind of a thing. So, obviously, it needs to be seen, but I think if they make a great movie, it's not going to hurt anything.
No, definitely. I mean, that's a fair point. It's interesting because what if Wonder Woman is great but just has 0 ties to the canon? Then, like, in that case especially, it doesn't really affect their film slate. It's like, okay, this was a really great film. Here's a question for you guys, and I'll start with Kat. Do you think that there is a way that watching this movie will improve Batman v Superman for you?
Wow. No, because I loved Wonder Woman and Batman v Superman. It's the only thing I liked about it. So if I hated Wonder Woman, that'd be different. I'd be like, oh, well, improved because now I know her character a little bit more in this universe. But that was the only thing I liked. So
True.
No.
Fair point. Fair point. Justin, same question.
Let me just mirror exactly what Kat said, except add in the addendum that I actually liked Batfleck.
See,
Yeah.
I think he has potential, but I don't think they did enough or did his character right in the movie.
I was
He's
fine with the killing.
just
They
not
just
as
needed
terrible
to
as other
explain
things.
why he did that. That's all. That was all I needed from that. They could have cut like maybe 4 dream sequences. Let's take away 4 dream sequences and just make more of the present. But yeah, I pretty much agree with you.
Dan Thomas, is there a scenario
No,
in which
I
Wonder
pretty much agree with what's been said. Wonder Woman in that movie
Damn
was
it!
fine. They kind of popped her in a little suddenly, like, hey, bam, Wonder Woman, check it out. We needed something else.
They needed it. They needed it.
It turns out they did, and so she was good in that. That was like the one good thing about it. Maybe if they did their own Lex Luthor movie, that was super fantastic. That would make Batman Superman a little bit better because. Oh,
True.
God, that was
True.
not a good idea.
That's literally why. That's why the extended cut is so much better because it actually shows parts of his plan, so you don't just think he's this crazy person the whole time. That's one of the reasons that the extended cut is so good. But here we're gonna double down on these sort of questions. Last.
No way.
You're
There
present
it is.
for the meme. There's the meme.
Josh's computer always overheats at the end of an hour, and his Skype either gets real choppy or he drops out. So now we get to kind of awkwardly hold this last segment for just a minute while we wait for him to come back in and be like, "Damn it, my computer." Did you have fun being on the show, Kat?
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This was a great conversation about Wonder Woman. I think we really dug deep into the character. It was fun.
You need to come back so we can talk about more things.
Hell yes, I would love to. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I would love to do that.
Do you have any like big videos on Comic Uno that you want to talk about? I saw. Is your latest one the Spider-Gwen review?
Yeah, one of my latest ones, that was, I did my comic book reviews for the week, so I have that. And also, Wonder Woman review tonight. What I do with my movie reviews is that I make it a non-spoiler portion in the beginning, and then I'm like, spoiler time, so I don't have to make 2 videos. I just make one, and I don't spoil it for you guys. So I'm going to have that up today. And what else did I got going on? Yeah, that's the big thing. In TV, DC TV just ended, so I get a little bit of a break, so I review pretty much all the shows. I review Supergirl, Arrow, and Flash, and I do a podcast for Legends of Tomorrow. I don't watch Gotham, though, so that's the only one I don't review from DC. How about you guys? What's your plans coming up? Well, you guys are all seeing Wonder Woman, which is good.
We are. We actually just released a video today that I'm going to go ahead and plug.
Oh, yeah.
Dan and I last night on a whim did a dramatic reading of that insane petition to change or cancel Far Cry 5 that just came out.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
got a super dramatic reading on that. You can go check it out on our YouTube. Dan and I had a ton of fun with it. I read him that petition on a whim, and Dan's like, dude, we have to do something about
a
this.
video about it. I don't know. I still don't think it's real. I think it was satirical, but it kind of ties back into the salt. There he is. Welcome back, Josh. Hurry, say what you gotta say.
Oh, real quick before my stupid internet does this again. It's every week. Every single week something happens.
I heard.
It's my phone. It's either the computer dies, the phone dies, the internet goes down. It's something. It's always
Justin
something.
mad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Justin. All right, so my last question is is there a potential that Wonder Woman makes you more excited for Justice League? Kat.
Yeah, I think so. I think because then I have hope. Wow, they can actually make a good movie since Dark Knight Rises. So I think so. I think it'll give me more hope.
Interesting. Justin, same question.
Absolutely. Like, if Wonder Woman is good, that definitely raises my expectations for the next Justice League film. So I'm super excited to see that. Plus, I mean, I just have a baseline general excitement for anything that Jason Momoa is in. So that it catapulted from there. Like, oh, Jason Momoa, super good. Oh, Gal Gadot being an awesome Wonder Woman. Oh man, that's great.
Just give them screen time. I'm actually worried about every other character. Ben Affleck, I'm like, I think he could do well. But Flash, I'm worried about. Cyborg, I'm worried about. So
super worried about Cyborg. I just don't get
he doesn't need to be in a Justice League movie. So, or have his own movie.
Yeah, just do Teen Titans or something with this. Slip him in the Titans. But anyways, Dan, same question.
I was kind of excited about Justice League beforehand because I was like, uh-oh, none of these movies have been super great, and they're going to smush them all together, so that's going to be hilarious. So I'm always excited for Justice League.
I'm kind of excited to watch that burn.
You're excited to see
the burn. Is it going
to
be a train wreck, or is it going to be like a beautiful evening kind of a scene that's enjoyable to watch that you can't turn your head? Yeah, or will it be totally forgettable? I don't know. That's the worst case scenario, I think, if it's just boring. If they just make a boring Justice League, I'm going to be like, what? Come on, at least explode a whole building so I can be like, they wouldn't do that, you know?
I know.
You have something to complain about.
Right, yeah. Well, the thing is, with,
I think
with
obviously
Zack Snyder, you're probably safe. But then again, he did step away, so.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation, you know. The whole DCEU is in flux right now, and like Wonder Woman's going to be this really good movie. Like I think we're all in agreement that we think it's going to be awesome. And then we're going to have Justice League later this year. And like, what, they have one movie next year? Like, what is this going to, it's just going to be so weird. Like, it feels like, I don't know, like the DC Extended Universe is the kid on the playground that always gets his ass kicked that you're literally rooting for because you're just like, dude, come on.
But you throw money at. You're like, I want to see this more.
I know. Well, yeah, true. You keep showing up at the playground. You're like, well, he's going to get sucked by Jimmy again. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll leave it there, guys, though. This has been a great show. Kat, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome. We'll throw this up on the YouTube. We'll link your YouTube. One more time. Tell the people about yourself.
Yeah, so you can go check out my YouTube channel, Comic Inno. I also have a group YouTube channel, Comic Frontline, where we do 2 podcasts over there. Media Madness, which I usually promote on my Twitter, where we just have a certain topic and we talk about it. And then our comic book show, which is on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern-ish, live on YouTube. That's on Comic Frontline. And then, of course, check out my comic books, Like Father, Like Daughter, and They Call Her the Dancer, very soon.
Yes, very good stuff. Check those out. Justin, where can people find you online? What are you going to be up to?
They can find me on Twitter at Emperor_Justin. That's where I do any of my tweeting. I already went and plugged the dramatic reading of the Far Cry video. So
yes,
that is
I was going to say, you got to
totally up there. People know about it. And I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss at what I'm going to do next for the YouTube channel, but I will figure it out.
It will be figured. Dan, what's going on, brother?
I mean, Dan, you can always catch me here on the Dan of Nerds if you want to follow me on Instagram, anime_Dan. I just post a bunch of funny shit on there, so feel free to follow and laugh along.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're doing some Pokemon stuff, right? You have a birthday thing coming up with the kids?
Yeah, I'm doing a little entrepreneurial. I didn't want to plug it because it's very local, but if you're in the south side of Chicago, if you're in Hyde Park, you got a kid who was having a party, end of school thing, birthday, hit me up. I'm Dan the Pokemon Professor. I do awesome little Pokemon parties with a cake. We're going to do Pokemon Jeopardy at this next one because kids love showing off their knowledge and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. I recommend following myself on the Instagram. I do a lot of fun stuff on there. Josh Likes Comics with an X. I'm always on the Den of Nerds, doing a lot of Star Wars stuff lately with James, Rebel Scum. Obviously do the Fine Piece and stuff like that. But you can find me. I'm a Google search away if you don't know where to find me, so check that out. And go see Wonder Woman, all you sons of guns. We really want this movie to succeed. Go see it. If it's really good, go see it again. Tell other people to go see it. Tell Grandma to see it. Grandma would like it. So that's all we've got for the show, guys. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya.